The vase shattered against the marble floor, red roses scattering like blood drops across the white tile. Zora didn't flinch. She'd learned a long time ago that flinching only made men like him feel powerful. Who sent them? His voice was ice. Pure, controlled, terrifying ice. She lifted her chin.
None of your business,
None of your
Seo-jin.
business, Seo-jin. He stepped closer, glass crunching beneath his Italian leather shoes. Everything in this building is my business. Everything you do. Everyone who contacts you. That became my business the moment you signed that contract. I signed a contract to manage your restaurant's books.
Not to let you
interrogate me about flowers. Seo-jin Han stopped inches from her face. His jaw was tight. His eyes, those dark, unreadable eyes, burned with something she couldn't name. The card said, I'm counting the days until you're free.
Free from whom?
Free
I don't
from
know
what,
what you mean.
Zora?
Maybe free.
Free from whom?
You think it's that
She
easy?
held his gaze. Maybe free from you. For 3 heartbeats, neither of them moved. The tension in that office was suffocating, thick enough to choke on. Then he laughed. Cold. Bitter. You think I'm keeping you here? You came
think
to
I'm
me,
keeping you
remember?
here? You came to me,
Begging.
remember?
I was
I
not
was
begging.
Not begging.
You were desperate.
Same thing.
Same thing. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now because this story is about to take turns you won't see coming. Drop a like, and comment where you're watching from and what time it is there. I love seeing my family from all over the world. Now, let's get back to this mess. Zora's hands trembled at her sides, but her voice stayed steel. I came to you because no one else would hire someone with my record. You knew that. You exploited it. I gave you a chance. You gave me a leash. Seo-jin's expression flickered. Just for a moment. Then it hardened again. That man who sent those flowers. Marcus Webb. Did you think I wouldn't find out who he is? Her blood ran cold. You traced the flowers. I trace everything. He moved to his desk, pulling out a folder. Photos spilled across the surface. Marcus at a restaurant. Marcus outside her apartment building. Marcus watching her through the window of a coffee shop. He's been following you for 2 weeks. And you've been letting him. I didn't know he was. Don't. Seo-jin's voice cracked like a whip. Don't lie to me. You met him for coffee 3 days ago. You let him touch your hand across the table. Zora's heart was pounding now. Not from fear of Seo-jin. From the realization of what he was saying. You've been watching me. Having me followed. Did you tell him about me? About what happens in the back rooms of this restaurant? About the shipments? I don't know anything about your shipments. But you know they exist. That's enough. That's enough for him to use you. She stepped back. Marcus is just a man I met at my cousin's birthday party. He's an accountant. He's normal. He's FBI, Zora. The words hung in the air like a guillotine. What? FBI. Undercover. And you've been feeding him information without even knowing it. Seo-jin pulled another photo from the folder. Marcus in a suit, walking into a federal building. A badge clipped to his belt. He's been working you for weeks. Getting close. Sending flowers. Playing the gentleman. All to get to me. Zora's legs threatened to give out. No. That's not, he was kind to me. He didn't ask about. What did you tell him about the restaurant? Nothing. What did you tell him about the deliveries? The men who come at midnight? The money you count that doesn't match the receipts? I told him nothing. Seo-jin slammed his hand on the desk. The sound cracked through the room like gunfire. Then why is he still circling? Why are his people parked outside this building right now, watching every move I make? Zora's vision blurred. She thought about the conversations with Marcus. The casual questions. Where do you work? What's your boss like? Must be stressful, handling all those accounts. He'd seemed so genuine. So interested in her. He played me, she whispered. Yes. And you knew. You knew this whole time and you let me. I was gathering information. Seeing how far you'd go. Her eyes snapped to his. You thought I was working with him. The thought crossed my mind. After everything I've done for you. After 2 years of cleaning your dirty money, lying to auditors, covering your tracks, you thought I was a rat? People will do anything when they're desperate enough. You taught me that the day you walked in here. Zora moved before she could stop herself. Her palm connected with his cheek hard enough to turn his head. The silence that followed was deafening. No one hit Seo-jin Han. No one touched him without permission. The men who worked for him would have put a bullet in someone for less. But he didn't move. He stood there, his cheek reddening, his breath slow and controlled. Feel better? He asked quietly. No. Good. Because we're not done. He reached into his jacket. Zora tensed, but he only pulled out a phone. He set it on the desk between them. Call him. What? Marcus. Call him. Tell him you have information. Tell him you're ready to cooperate. You want me to set him up? I want you to prove your loyalty. Zora stared at the phone like it might bite her. And if I don't? Seo-jin's voice dropped to a whisper. Then I have to assume you're with him. And I have to act accordingly. She'd heard stories about what acting accordingly meant in Seo-jin's world. People disappeared. Families received condolences but never bodies. She had no one to receive condolences. Her grandmother had passed last spring, her mother had been gone since she was 7, but that didn't make the threat less real. You would kill me? Something shifted in his eyes. Something almost like pain. I would hate myself for it. But you'd still do it. He didn't answer. Now, before I continue, I need you to tell me something in the comments. Do you think Zora should make that call? Do you think Seo-jin actually cares about her, or is she just a pawn to him? Let me know what you're thinking right now. Zora picked up the phone. Her fingers moved across the screen, pulling up Marcus's contact. The one he'd saved himself, with a little heart emoji next to his name. God, she'd been so stupid. But she didn't press call. There's another option, she said. There's not. There is if you stop thinking with your ego for 5 seconds. She set the phone down. Marcus wants information about you. About your operation. He spent weeks getting close to me because I'm the easiest way in. But I'm not the only way. Seo-jin's eyes narrowed. What are you proposing? Give him what he wants. You want me to hand myself over to the FBI? I want you to give him fake information. Bad intel. Let me feed it to him, let him build a case on it, and when he moves, he'll find nothing. His career will be over. His investigation will be tainted. And you'll be untouchable. Seo-jin studied her. That's risky. Everything about my life since I met you has been risky. And what's in it for you? Zora met his gaze. When it's done, you let me go. Contract void. Clean slate. I walk away, and you never contact me again. The muscle in his jaw tightened. And if I don't agree? Then I make that call right now and tell Marcus everything I actually know. The real numbers. The real names. The real bodies. She was bluffing. She didn't know about any bodies. But she'd learned how to play poker in this building, and she'd learned from the best. Seo-jin's expression was unreadable. The seconds stretched like hours. Then he said the last thing she expected. Why do you want to leave so badly? The question threw her. What? You could have run months ago. You could have gone to the police yourself. But you stayed. You counted my money. You sat across from me in meetings. You ate dinner at my table when I asked. Why stay if you hate me so much? Because I had nowhere else to go. That's not an answer. It's the only answer you're getting. He moved closer. Not threatening this time. Almost careful. When Marcus sent those roses, I didn't run a background check because I was protecting my operation. I ran it because I needed to know who he was to you. If he made you smile. If you said his name in a way you've never said mine. Zora's breath caught. What are you talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're my employer. You're a criminal. You've threatened my life more times than I can count. And yet you're still here. Because you won't let me leave. The door has always been open, Zora. You know that. I've never locked you in. I've never chained you down. You stayed because you wanted to. You're insane. Maybe. He was close enough now that she could smell his cologne. Cedar and something darker, something that reminded her of danger and late nights and conversations that went too deep. But so are you. 2 years, and you've never once looked at me the way you looked at those roses. Like they meant something. Like someone out there actually cared about you. Her eyes burned. Because you don't care. You watch. You control. You own. But you don't care. Then why did I stay up until 3 in the morning when your grandmother died? Why did I send my personal doctor to her hospice when the hospital wouldn't give her enough morphine? Why did I hold you in my office while you cried and promise you that you weren't alone? Zora's voice cracked. Don't. Why did I destroy a man's business last year because he grabbed your arm at a charity event? I didn't ask you to do that. You didn't have to. She was crying now. She hated herself for it, but the tears came anyway. Because he was right. About all of it. I can't love a man like you, she whispered. I know. You kill people. Yes. You destroy lives. Yes. You're everything I should run from. Seo-jin reached up, his thumb brushing a tear from her cheek. And yet I'm the only one who's never left. The only one who sees you. Not as a charity case. Not as a mark. Not as a desperate woman with a record. I see you, Zora. I always have. The phone buzzed on the desk. Marcus's name flashed on the screen. They both looked at it. Answer it, Seo-jin said quietly. Make your choice. Zora's hand trembled as she reached for the phone. Her finger hovered over the green button. Then she pressed decline. I need time, she said. To think. To figure out what I want. You have until morning. That's not enough. It's all I can give you. By tomorrow night, Marcus will either be neutralized or I'll be in handcuffs. Those are the only outcomes. She nodded slowly. Her mind was spinning, heart pulled in directions she didn't understand. Can I leave? He stepped aside. You were always free to leave. She walked to the door. Her hand touched the handle. Then she paused. The roses, she said without turning around. I threw them away. Before you even broke the vase. I saw the card, I saw the number, and I knew something was wrong. I threw them in the trash outside. I know. Then why did you? Because I needed to see your face when I accused you. I needed to know if you would lie to me. And? You didn't. You never do. She opened the door. Before she stepped out, she heard his voice one more time. Zora. She turned. If you choose him, if you decide the safe life is worth more than this, I won't stop you. I'll let you go. I'll make sure you're protected. But don't choose him because you think I can't love you. I've loved you since the night you spilled coffee on my suit and refused to apologize because you said I deserved it for making you work late. Her heart cracked open. Why didn't you ever say anything? Because you look at me like I'm a monster. And I wanted to be someone else for you first. Someone worthy. Seo-jin. Go. Think. Decide. She left the building. The night air hit her face, cold and sharp. She drove home in a fog, Marcus's texts lighting up her phone the whole way. Are you okay? Did the flowers arrive? Can we meet tomorrow? She didn't answer any of them. By the time she reached her apartment, she'd already made her decision. But she needed to sleep. Needed to let the chaos in her head settle into something she could understand. In the morning, everything would change. And it did. Now listen, if you've made it this far, you need to be subscribed to this channel because we're about to wrap this story up. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and stick with me through the end. She drove back to the restaurant at dawn. The streets were empty. The building was quiet. But when she walked into his office, Seo-jin was already there, standing by the window, watching the sun rise over the city. He didn't turn around when she entered. You came back, he said quietly. I never really left. He turned then. His eyes were tired. She realized he hadn't slept either. I have something to tell you, she said. And you're not going to like it. Tell me. I called Marcus last night. His whole body went rigid. Not to give him information, she continued quickly. To end it. To tell him I knew who he was. To tell him that whatever he was looking for, he wasn't going to find it through me. Seo-jin's voice was dangerously low. And what did he say? He tried to convince me I was in danger. That you were using me. That I deserved better. And you disagreed? Zora stepped closer. I told him I'd been in danger my whole life. I told him you were the only person who ever made me feel like I could survive it. And I told him that what I deserve is my own choice, not his, not the FBI's, not anyone's. Seo-jin's expression shifted. Something cracked behind his eyes, something like hope, quickly buried. He won't stop, he said. Men like him don't stop. Then we deal with it together. You don't know what you're signing up for. I've worked for you for 2 years. I know exactly what I'm signing up for. He moved toward her slowly, like she might disappear if he approached too fast. I can't promise you safety. I don't want safety. I want honesty. I can't promise you I'll never do terrible things. I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm asking you to be real. He stopped in front of her. Close enough to touch. Close enough to feel the heat of him, the tension coiled in every muscle. What are you saying, Zora? She took a breath. I'm saying I'm done running. From you. From myself. From whatever this is between us. This could destroy you. Maybe. But walking away would destroy me worse. She reached up, touching his face the way he'd touched hers the night before. I'm not choosing the monster, Seo-jin. I'm choosing the man who held me when my grandmother died. The man who remembers the exact night I spilled coffee on his suit. The man who's been waiting for me to see him, really see him, for 2 years. His breath caught. Just barely. But she felt it. I don't know how to be gentle, he admitted. Then learn. We'll learn together. He pulled her into him then, not rough, not possessive, but desperate in the way only lonely people know how to be. His arms wrapped around her like he was terrified she'd vanish. His face pressed into her hair. I'll burn the whole world down for you, he whispered. I don't need the world burned. I just need you to stay. I'll stay. Promise me. I promise. They stood there in the silence of dawn, holding onto each other like two people who'd finally stopped fighting the inevitable. It wasn't perfect. Nothing about their lives was perfect. But 3 months later, Zora moved out of her apartment and into the brownstone Seo-jin had been renovating in secret. The one with the garden in the back, because she'd mentioned once, just once, that her grandmother used to grow tomatoes. Marcus Webb's investigation collapsed under the weight of bad intel. He was reassigned to a desk job in Ohio. He never contacted Zora again. Seo-jin didn't stop being who he was overnight. There were still midnight meetings. Still cash that didn't quite add up. Still men with cold eyes moving through the back rooms of the restaurant. But he started taking steps. Legitimate businesses. Clean investments. A foundation in her grandmother's name that funded hospice care for families who couldn't afford it. "You're going soft," his second-in-command told him one night. Seo-jin just smiled. "I'm going smart. There's a difference." And Zora? She stopped counting dirty money. Started managing the foundation instead. Started building something that felt like a future instead of just survival. On quiet nights, they'd sit on the rooftop of the brownstone, watching the city lights flicker below. He'd tell her about Korea, about the mother who left and the father who turned cold. She'd tell him about growing up in Baltimore, about food stamps and double shifts, and a grandmother who taught her that struggle didn't mean weak, it meant strong enough to keep going. They didn't say, "I love you," often. The words felt too small for what they had. But when he reached for her hand in the dark, she didn't pull away. And when she fell asleep against his shoulder, he stayed perfectly still so he wouldn't wake her. That was enough. More than enough. It was everything.